Hi, I'm Scott Cadzow. My role and background is very much I'm an engineer in developing standards for at ETSI. Prior to that, I developed databases, radio systems, security systems for a number of organizations. But very much my focus is on trying to make the societies we live in secure, safe, privacy enhancing, privacy protecting, but basically making sure that standards act as a hard to attain, very good baseline for what we do in our everyday lives. And one of the things I'll talk about shortly is how ETSI as a member organisation, an industrial standards organisation, brings people together to sit down to make those things happen, to make our systems, our world more secure, more safe, more private. That when we started this journey, AI was basically a big unknown. Nobody knew what AI was. Nobody knew. If you got 10 people in a room and asked them what AI was, you get 10, 12, 13, 14, 100 different opinions because they changed their mind from minute to minute. What we wanted to do is bring that down to a set of like rational thoughts and understandings, bring it together so people would start to think, how does AI really affect me? How does AI really work? And what can we do to make it more useful? What we're trying to do is bring AI forward to make it actually of value to people and get rid of the fear, because there's a huge amount of existential fear about AI. It's going to take our jobs, it's going to take our lifestyles, it's going to ruin the world. We're going to have dystopian nightmares, which you see on TV and film all the time. They're not real. They are fiction. Let's try and descale it, get down to what's real and honest about it, and then bring the communities together to make that happen, make it a reasonable way forward. AI is not static. You're building on quicksand. And the fundamental problem is that most of our security systems, most of our safety systems require stability. And as soon as you take away stability, that's where you get problems. And what we're trying to do is try and work out, how do you make something secure which changes minute by minute, second by second, and where your expectations are fluid as well. And that's the challenge. So what we're trying to do is bring engineers, thought experts, societies, industry, government, regulators together to try and find a path forward that actually gets rid of that uncertainty, tries to move us to point where, even though it remains mutable, that we actually have a firm basis for doing work that gives people faith and trust and understanding of what's going on with AI around them. The strength of ETSI and the strength of the work we do is that we build communities. We bring people together. We don't judge people. We get them to be open and above board. We don't inhibit debate. And getting that understanding, they can come to ETSI, they can come to our committee meetings, and they can sit there without fear of being judged. That openness, that freedom to think and to express themselves is why ETSI gets success. And that's why we make the standards we do. They do shake the world up, but they shake the world up by being the product of a shaken up world. And that's kind of important. Getting those people together in the same meeting room, talking often completely different commercial objectives or different societal objectives, getting to discuss them in an open way means we can reflect a better set of standards, a better set of capabilities for the world that we want around them. And that's what ETSI brings as strength. No other grouping of experts in the world does that as effectively as what we do at ETSI. Interoperability is good if you want to really share things, but ultimately you're not going to share an AI used in e-health with an AI used for driving. There is no artificial general intelligence. You can't teach an AI to drive your car and do surgery on you at the same time. That's not going to happen. But what we want to do is ensure that the core ideas are fundamentally common, so we can exchange ideas. So the idea of how to build data, how to exchange data, how to describe data, how to describe programming, they are common across all domains. So the same fundamental ideas of data expression, data labeling, data transfer algorithmic transfer, algorithmic sharing, understanding, they're common whether you're working in industry, in health, in societal care, or industrial processing. They're all the same. And it's bringing those together so we can actually build from a very small set of common frameworks. Those common frameworks can then be applied to essentially the universe of technology. And giving that common framework means we are going to advance the common frameworks, the common technologies, so we actually get better societies, better privacy, better security, all those things that we want as members of society, we get because we're willing to understand and share and find out what needs to be interoperable, what needs to be interconnected. The essential big mindset change is it's not yours. You have to share ideas, you have to talk to other people. You will not control the world. So if you're a regulator, your regulation has to comply to other people's regulation. It has to comply to what industry needs and wants, it has to comply to society wants. Societal users have to be aware that they are major stakeholders, and accepting their role as a stakeholder is going to be important. So moving forward, what we need to do is build a bigger community than we have already, bringing more users, more voices, but also making them welcome so that they're willing to come and raise their voice so we can move on. We cannot afford, with AI, with security, with society, to be exclusive. We have to be inclusive. One of the challenges too, as a community in SAI, but also as a community within ETSI and a community within, we're in the European framework, but within the global framework, we have to make sure that all voices are heard, no voices are left unheard, and that essentially we make sure that whatever happens, we do not bias and discriminate against others. We bring them together, get their voice heard, and move together as a global community. That's where we want to be.